If you're looking for some straight up marketing advice that's super chilled and also a bit of a laugh, then grab yourself a drink and get ready for Marketing and Margaritas, a podcast that makes marketing entertaining. Brought to you by Rebel Nation, direct from regional Queensland.
Welcome to Marketing and Margaritas. I am joined today by Taryn, who is our web dev at Rebel and also my nephew. Yay, now everyone knows.
Fantastic. Look, considering you tell it to literally everyone that comes in.
I do not literally tell everyone. We just spoke about this yesterday. There are people who still don't know. Anyway, Taryn is on today to talk to us about website functionality and plugins. So we're cracking the code on things that can be a little bit daunting or I guess if people, they hear the words plugin and functionality, like, oh, what functionality do you want for their website? And people have no idea what we're talking about. Their eyes glaze over. And so today we just want to break it down for people. I guess that's one of the things that I've always liked about working with you is that I find that, you understand all of the really high techie stuff or whatever. And there's some things I can pick up and some shit is just so far over my head. And I really appreciate when you break things down for me so that I can understand it. I actually do know what functionality and plugins are, so I'm already ahead here. But just for everybody else, what do we mean when we say website functionality?
So everything that your website does is considered functionality. Things from having e-commerce and being able to sell products to having people sign up to your mailing list to being able to display your projects in a way that is...
So it's the functions.
Yeah.
Functionality is literally just the functions.
The stuff your site can do.
On the website. Yeah, okay, cool. And then what do we mean when we say plugin?
So if you're building a site from scratch, you can use builders like Asp and hard coding your website to look exactly how you like and do exactly what you want to do. But for people that use CMSs like Squarespace,
CMS,
content management system, like Squarespace or especially WordPress, having plugins are essentially pre-made bits of code that other people have made to be compatible with your website builder of choice. And then you literally plug them in, usually by pasting a little bit of code in your site's header. And then your site will be able to do whatever that code says.
And so with WordPress, you're pretty much plugging in whatever particular functionality and stuff you want. But if you have something like Squarespace or X or whatever, then it's going to, or not X, Editor X, that's what I mean, isn't
That's
it?
the Wix one, yeah.
Yeah. It's going to potentially already have some inbuilt functionality that you may not then need to plug in to the website as well.
And that's why choosing your website platform is so important. Like, yes, Squarespace has commerce functionality, but if you're wanting to sell a heap of products and have a super robust shop with lots of different shopping items.
You're probably more looking at Shopify.
Exactly. Like, you might be able to get plugins that can do what you want, but going to that extra effort to install them when there's another option that already covers that.
Has it inbuilt and that's like what they do best and all that type of thing.
You don't need to reinvent the wheel there. Just go with what works.
Okay, cool. All right, so to break it down, we're going to be talking about different types of functionality. This is not exhaustive, but just probably the main ones that we see from like our clients and stuff, and some of the things obviously that we have ourselves. So e-commerce is definitely one of them. So basically setting up so that people can buy products or services through your website. For us, obviously we have digital products, but we also sell our workshops through our website. And then we also have some of our services packaged up that you can purchase through the website as well. So I think that any business could actually realistically have some kind of e-com element to it where they could have people buying from them at any time of the day sort of thing just by driving traffic to their website.
100%. And that's one of the things with Shopify is even if you've built your site elsewhere, Shopify has a kind of plugin that you can implement on different sites to give you that shop functionality. Like, depending on how much that aesthetic matters to you, like having a site look slightly different when you go to the shop might be jarring and might not be something that you like. But if you're super happy with your current website and don't want to move away but want that shop functionality, that's a way that you can achieve that.
Cool. All right, next on our list is email marketing. So what are some options for email marketing?
This is probably the one we use the most. So being able to have a mailing list, super important for marketing strategies, which I'm sure you've gone on about ad nauseum here.
Excuse you, ad nauseum. You're ad nauseum.
I don't think that's how that works.
I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
But yeah, with MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, ConvertKit, all of those, you can, with MailChimp and Squarespace specifically, you can just directly plug in your MailChimp details. And
I love how you actually physically go like, I'm just plugging it in. It's like literally like you've got your website there and I'm just going,
that's the best way to pitch a plugin. Like literally copy the code, paste it where it needs to go, boom, it does what you want. But MailChimp, you can log in your Squarespace site and it will automatically add new subscribers to your newsletter block into your MailChimp list. With ConvertKit, the one that we've moved to recently, we have a little bit of code that we paste in the sections and that's how we get those signups. There's another plugin that we have that actually makes our email pop up when you go to a page and you've scrolled past a certain point, but it also stops that pop-up from appearing if someone's been on our site recently. So
we did. Okay, cool.
So you're not getting bombarded with pop-ups when you come to our site, but once every month, if you haven't already signed up to our list, you might get a pop-up asking.
I was talking about that with someone at a workshop recently where they're like, I don't know about pop-up because it's so annoying and stuff. And I said, well, we're actually testing it with some different parameters and everything, because same thing, like pop-ups can be annoying. But from a marketing perspective, they can actually be super effective as well. So it's like trying to find that balance where you're actually useful to put something in front of someone's face versus being annoying sort of thing. So, I mean, that's a bit sides one, but yeah, I just want to point that out. Okay, cool. All right, membership.
So this is one that...
Well, member login, I guess, because we use member logins for a couple of different things for clients.
Because that'd be like a shop, potentially. If you've got an account, you could be a member of that site.
Well, like we've done ones where we've actually had people who like had a membership with gated content that people paid a subscription to each month. But then we've also got ones where, like for example, where we've got the board and it's their member login so that the board has all of their annual reports and meeting minutes and all that kind of stuff is available to everyone, but it's on the website sort of thing.
So with that board one specifically, that's a password protected page. That's not necessarily a plugin.
Oh, I thought we built that as a member login.
No, so that's just a password page.
What about that recent one that we did then that has the two different types, the admin?
Yeah, so that's a membership plugin because that uses Membership Works. And what that does is when you have member gated content, you don't want people outside of your membership, whether that be a subscription or people within a certain grant or funding thing, being able to see that content. So there's code that we put in certain pages and on certain sections that if you're not signed in, it will hide that HTML from rendering. And that way, if you're not part of it, you can't see it.
Hide that HTML from rendering. I just did a big spiel about how you make things really easy to understand and you're like, rendering HTML.
So it stops the code from being shown.
People don't talk like that.
Basically, we just want to hide the stuff that you shouldn't see.
Right? Just makes that content not show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's still like you have like this complete full website with all of your stuff in it. It's just that some bits are hidden unless you're logged in.
And the code does checks, and one of the good things that Membership Works offers is single sign-on. So if you sign on in a browser, those details then get cached or get stored on your computer so that if you come back to the website later...
you don't have to keep re-logging in. Yeah, that's cool.
And obviously if you delete your cache or your cookies, because those are how they store those details, then you'll need to re-log in, and some programs or some websites will make you re-log in after a certain period so that it's not as easy to hack your account and get access wrongly. That's a word, right?
Well, it is, but not in that context. You can be wrongly accused.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Okay, next one is scheduling. So what is the scheduling functionality for a website?
So that's another one that Squarespace has started offering. Or has...
Well, they bought Acuity Scheduling.
They bought a solution that was doing it and was a plugin, but now they offer it natively. However, things like Calendly that aren't Squarespace specific, or there was another one that I looked into a few years ago, but Calendly is the one that I remember. And basically you log into their website, you create an account, you can set your different booking options and how long those appointments are, and then there will be an element like a calendar or a button that you can put onto your website that displays your availability or gives people a booking form so that they can make those appointments.
So basically people can book in with you and you don't have to do the whole back and forth fucking dance of like, are you available Tuesday between these times? No, I can't do that. Can you do this? No, I can't do that. It's basically just like, here is my availability, which you preset and have preloaded, into this thing. And then they can choose whatever slot suits them. They fill it out. They get the booking in their calendar and the booking automatically goes in your calendar. And it's a real no muss, no fuss kind of situation.
And because some people, when they start out, might try having it as like a shop item, but then if people have it, you have that email trail where you're going back and forth. This just cuts out that middleman and makes things much more streamlined, both for you because it's automated, but also for your client so that they don't have that uncertainty about when you're available and when things can happen.
So like our masseuse, for example, that we use for Rebel, like she has that option where we can just go in and book our own massage appointments. So she's not having to allocate things with people. They just kind of come to her. It's really interesting because the doctor that I'm with, they don't have any pre-scheduling thing or whatever, but the one that I was with previously, they did. So it's actually really quite convenient if I was like, oh shit, I need to make a doctor's appointment and it's like, 10 o'clock at night. Instead of setting a reminder for myself to do it the next day, I could actually just go on and book it in straight away. And for them, that's done. You know what I mean? That's no admin time. They didn't have to have someone answer the phone and then, all that kind of stuff. Like their people can be freed up to actually just greet people coming in, etc. So it was just much more, streamlined sort of operation. But it's like anything, these kind of things, they save time in the long run, but they do take a bit of time and investment to actually get up and running sort of thing. But if you're willing to do that part, then in the long run it does pay off, I think.
Absolutely. And again, it's all about weighing those needs because the thing with plugins, especially in the case of Squarespace is its own gated thing. It costs you money per year. These plugins are usually services that people have made. They're not running for free. So using them is then an additional cost on top of that. So,
well, Calendly is free up to a certain amount.
Yeah. And so if you have...
I think it's like you can have 1 or 2 appointment types and then anything else is more, exactly, sort of thing. So I think if you're entry level and you're just starting to play with this stuff, it's actually cool that a lot of these do have a free option so you can test it out and see if you like it before you're actually paying for it as well.
And that's the same with using anything. Like if you're considering a website builder or a new mailing platform, you should always test it. Most things are going to have a free trial, seeing how it works, whether it's right for you, whether you like the feel. Because again, having all of these automations, if they end up causing more hassle than they're worth, are not going to serve you and your goals. So before you jump in and pay that price, it's worthwhile.
Try before you buy.
Yeah.
Basically.
So succinct.
Right? I mean, you just waffle on and on. I'm just like straight in with the point there. You love it. All right, courses.
So courses are another one that doesn't crop up a whole lot, but the few times it has, it's because that has such a robust, there's a lot of needs that you need to fulfill. Like you want to have quizzes, you want to have marking, you want to have the payments.
Well, that's me particularly, whereas like otherwise, like we've been getting more inquiry around it and I think other people are potentially a bit more traditional and straightforward in their course needs than me.
View it and tick it off.
Yeah. Whereas I'm like, I need to know that you're into this. I need to see your comprehension. I want to make sure that you're actually understanding it. Otherwise, I do not trust you to finish the course.
That's probably the marketing side of things, though. In the data-driven, I want to know every moment of this pipeline.
That seems like a personal attack.
Observation more than an attack.
Anyway, course functionality. Give us a little bit of a background on it.
So the one that we use in-house is Thinkific. It meets our needs.
I love Thinkific.
It's pretty good. And it's easy. Like once we did the initial setup, updating your programs and your course options are super simple and straightforward. But the way it works for us, if we want to purchase a course, there's a little bit of code that we can link to, and then we put that in a button, and that takes them straight from our landing page or product offering to the course where they can purchase it. If they want to see things, Thinkific has a website builder that you can build your entire site out of. It's a little bit basic, but if you're not wanting a super designy site or if you're just starting out, having that option is way better than paying for 2 things side by side if you're not 100% sure on how you're going to approach this yet. So Thinkific, you might have a button in your nav. it links to your Thinkific site. And then from there, that's where all of your courses are. That's where people can pay to get access, and it's all managed by them.
Mm. And some of the others that we looked at were, I know there was Kajabi, Teachable, and there was one other one, wasn't there, that we got quite into?
There's a heap of course offerings. And again, like with anything, it's weighing the pros and cons. Thinkific was right for our needs at the time, and now that we're with it, we're happy to keep going with it. But if you're looking into them, again, make an account, have a try, see how it goes for you.
And looking at it from that user experience side, I think, as well, because courses are definitely that dual side of things where you really want your interface and dashboards and the data and everything that you get to be easy to navigate, easy to manage, because courses can be a bit of a beast to manage. So you sort of want to make sure that your side of it is streamlined. But then obviously you want for your students for things to be as clear and easy to find and not clunky. Like I know, I can't remember what it was. It might be Moodle, I think. So one of the unis they implemented with COVID and everything like that, they brought they used Moodle as their online teaching platform.
Right.
And there was a lot of feedback from people about, and I don't know if it was Moodle itself or whether it was how it was set up, because obviously it would have been rushed and all that sort of thing, like responding to a pandemic. But it was really clunky and hard to find things and stuff. And I've seen other courses, because obviously I've dipped into a lot of different courses and set membership setups and whatever, and some of them are just literally just a heap of crap on a page that you just keep scrolling through, sort of thing. Like it's not even hardly organized or curated. It's just like a massive scrolling landing page. That's like a lesson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas for example, Thinkific, it's those nice little lessons on the side, it drops down, and then your sections in each lesson, sort of thing. Like it keeps everything all together and really nice.
And just from that particular user experience, having that list of things that you've accomplished in the course, seeing those ticked off things, and you're like, yep, this is what I've learned. I am this far through. That feeds into that feedback loop of, yes, I'm actually doing things, and gives you that sense of accomplishment that can help drive you forward.
Which is great for a student because, seeing your progress as you go is definitely motivation to keep going.
100%.
But on the course creator side as well, it's great because you can actually get stats as to how far along each person is percentage-wise and stuff as well. So it sort of feeds into both sides. All right, cool. And lastly I have is design and looks. So we've got a whole bunch of plugins and stuff that can do cool design sort of features. Give us some examples of plugins that we've used to create design effects
So
on a website.
with plugins design-wise, these are usually born out of necessity of limitations on the platform. So with Squarespace, again, being that's our main platform, there's a bunch of creators with Will Myers and Beatrice Carabello that do plugins that augment how your site look. So it might give you the option to change the color of some text that you couldn't before, or might have it make it so that you can have sections that scroll and gives you that slideshow look. Things that Squarespace can't do, but that you want to have because it looks nice. So those are codes usually that you pop in, and they're CSS, which are the styles of your site or how it looks. And you can then tweak that, being, oh, I love this, but I actually want to make it blue instead of red. And then you can kind of go from there and edit it and make it your own.
Cool. All right. Awesome. Any other functionality you want to get into before we go to our wrap-up tip here?
No, I think that's pretty comprehensive.
And that's really, like I said, they're the main ones that we sort of deal with. I mean, obviously websites, for the most part, are about, attracting your audience to you, letting them find out more about you, and then figuring out how to do business with you, sort of thing. But these are all different ways that really help with the doing business part with you, I would say. That most of these, obviously design and looks is more about the aesthetic, but those other things a member login, e-commerce, scheduling, email marketing is really getting people to actually engage with you as well. And I think that's, people talk about they want their websites to be interactive. And I think that it's knowing the difference between do you want interactive as in to have something cool looking happening or video or whatever so that it looks dynamic, or are you saying interactive as in you want people to actually engage with you and do something? And I think that's where those, your standard sort of functionality would be a contact form or something that they fill out. Whereas these other options allow people to engage with you in different ways, and that makes it a bit easier to convert and stuff as well.
Absolutely.
Which is kind of the whole purpose of a website.
So I've been told.
Okay, wrap up tip, lay it on us.
As with anything, when you're doing stuff with website, code is amazing. It can do so much for you if you've got the know-how or can hire a developer to do that for you. But again, it's worth weighing those pros and cons. If you're paying for an ongoing plugin and then someone to implement it and maintain it, make sure that it's a good fit for your business. Really evaluate those options and see, is this plugin going to do what I want and be a worthwhile investment, or can I do something similar with a slightly more manual touch? Just weighing those pros and cons and picking something that works for you.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. It wasn't too scary, was it?
No.
I didn't say any of the things that you hate that I say. I made fun of you a little bit, but not too much. I think I was fairly tame.
Well done.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. I wasn't fishing for that at all. Hope you also got a lot out of this today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Marketing and Margaritas. Find more free marketing tips, tricks and laughs at rebelnation.com.au.